Hey everyone, Kenton Meyer here. Today I want to talk about something that I've been really researching and contemplating over the last, honestly, several years. And it's the link between depression and rich people. Why are rich people so often depressed? I mean, we hear it all the time, right? Chris Farley, we Notch, which I'm going to bring it up later, people who win the lottery. Why are those who often have the most struggle to find happiness, meaning, and fulfillment? Let's get into it today. I'm going to give you some crazy insights into this that you've never heard before, I guarantee it. Freedom paradox. The whole thesis of today's discussion is that people don't actually want freedom. They hate freedom. This is why our entire lives we spend all of our energy burning ourselves out, running on the endless treadmill of goals, achievements, status, obligations forever. People have been programmed, not that just rich people, but for this discussion right now, rich people have been programmed their whole lives to believe they must have a specific purpose. And when money removes this limitation, they discover the emptiness of these false purposes, right? So whenever, our whole lives we spend running on this treadmill, but whenever our identity about who we are gets exposed when we have absolute freedom, we have an existential crisis. So let's take a case study here to make it more clear. Notch, the guy who made Minecraft, sold his company to Microsoft for $2.5 billion. Everyone thinks this guy, is the dream life, right? Do something you love, build something you love, get rich off of it, and boom, you're happy. Well, guess what? His money removed all external limitations, or most of them, but he was left with the internal limitations of his mind. He couldn't free himself from his mental prison. And a famous tweet is the problem with getting everything in life is that you run out of reasons to keep trying. His purpose was achieving goals, right? But what he missed through this whole process of becoming successful is that expressing yourself authentically is the most important thing. So he bought a $70 million mansion, hosted parties, but he felt disconnected increasingly from other people because the external trappings of success amplified rather than solved his internal emptiness. So what happened? Without a new challenge, he faced the reality that achievement was his only source of meaning, and when achievement became unlimited, meaning became unavailable. Lottery winner trap. There's some studies out there, so like 70% of lottery winners end up broke or unhappy within a few years. Why is this? Because without limitations to overcome, without obstacles, without meaning, they have no framework for finding it. Okay? So when you get up every day and you say to yourself, I have to go to work, I have to take care of my kids, I have to slave away, or some 9 to 5, I have all these obligations, it gives you a framework for what your life needs to look like, right? But when you achieve all of the programming, when you essentially break out of the matrix, if you want to call it that, stupid, but when you break out of this 9 to 5, what you realize is that you are scared of freedom because you don't know who you are fundamentally, and we'll get into this. But these lottery winners, often try to fill a purpose or a void with possessions and experiences. We find this oftentimes with rich people because they don't know who they are fundamentally, so they have to invent these things about who they are, about what they need to do. Because our entire lives, we have been told that we need to do something. We are obligated to do something. Starts with parental approval. The drive to make parents proud creates a lifelong prison of external validation. Many wealthy individuals realize too late that they've been living someone else's definition of success, of purpose, of meaning, but yet we find ourselves reciting and following the same scripts day after day. Status hierarchy, the belief that worth comes from position within relative to other people. So this is the thing a lot of rich people don't realize. Because they don't think about these things. In order to be successful, there has to be a relative comparison to. So that's why you always see these successful people always feel like they need more. It's because they're constantly comparing themselves to others. If you grow up in a poor area, you compare yourself to the people around you. So success feels, that jump is maybe becoming like making 6 figures, going to college, just finding some sort of financial stability. But then you get a new friend group, and then you compare yourselves to that friend group. It's a never-ending cycle because status is inherently relative. So if your success is built off of this social illusion of what your life needs to be what your life needs to look like, what it needs to be, your identity gets wrapped in that. And then when your identity gets exposed when you have the freedom, that's whenever you have all these coping mechanisms like achievement addiction. A dopamine hit from accomplishing goals becomes its own prison. Rich people often can't enjoy being without constantly doing and achieving. Buffett exception. Warren Buffett escapes these traps by living modestly in the same house. Here's the problem, guys. Here's the big problem. You do not have to reject material possessions in order to find meaning. You don't. Warren Buffett's he's a happy guy. He's a happy guy, and he escapes this trap. What does Warren Buffett do that you're not doing, that these other rich people are not doing? He finds joy in the authentic self-expression of his deepest nature, which for him, it's just the process of investing rather than the achievement of wealth itself or what wealth can buy. Here's the truth society doesn't want to face. Here's what you don't want to face. Most people, especially rich people, most people have no idea what's actually going on in life. They just don't, okay? They follow these prescribed paths, these scripts, these stories that they've told. They've been told their whole lives that they need to do without questioning the fundamental nature of existence, of consciousness, of meaning. Most people go their entire lives without spending even 100 hours deeply questioning life. It's just a shame because most people have no idea who they are authentically without programming. Most people's whole personalities, you need to notice this, is largely a collection of adopted beliefs and reactions from parents, peers, and media. It's largely a collection of beliefs about what they're obligated to do. Right? You need to go to college. You need to get a job. You need to work hard. You need to sacrifice for your family. You need to exist in a certain political party, right? You need to exist in vote a certain political party. You need to exist as a certain type of good person. You need to you get what I'm pointing at. Our purposes and hustle mentalities keep us perpetually distracted from these uncomfortable truths that when we sit down and really think about what we want, who we are, what is even happiness at a deep level, people have no idea. And the entire system benefits when we stay busy chasing these goals that really have no impact. People don't want freedom. The ultimate paradox. Money doesn't buy happiness, it buys freedom. And freedom for most people is the last thing they want because it is frightening at an existential level. If your entire life is about chasing an illusion of purpose, what are you left with when you finally catch it? The void that was always there becomes impossible to ignore. This is the thing. People think that money makes you depressed. Success makes you depressed or exposes something. Yes, it exposes something. The void that's always there. The reason why people who work 9 to 5s, the reason why people who are constantly busy raising families or having all these social obligations isn't because it's more meaningful. It's because it distracts you more 99% of the time from you actually don't know who you are. You don't know what your life is like, and you're living someone else's story. But this is comfortable, right? Most people would rather remain in a familiar prison than face the terrifying responsibility of authentic freedom. The cage provides structure their authentic self doesn't yet know how to create. People just are not ready for that level of freedom. It's an incredible responsibility because you pretty much have to take it all on your shoulders. You have to stop following obligations. And then the real question is the depression rich people often face isn't about having too much. It's about finally having to confront who they are beneath all the striving. And most people are not ready for what they find. So the real question I want to ask everyone watching is, who are you when you strip back the obligations? Most people are uncomfortable to answer that. Or they answer it really quickly as if they really know. But did you decide that? Or was that just programming about who you think you need to be? And if you guys like these sorts of videos, if you guys like these deep insights, then consider joining our Discord community of independent thinkers who are trying to transform their lives and also transform the world in a positive way. And if you guys want the method for how to break free from these mental prisons, then consider joining our Discord, because that's what we specialize in, helping people break free from limiting perspectives, these mental prisons that are keeping you trapped in cycles of unfulfillment. So anyways, thanks for watching.